again. Spooky sisters. Tell your friends.
Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Oh, I don't know how it goes.
Guess who's back?
Thank God you came in there and saved that one.
Did I say
back, spooky soulmates?
Woohoo! We missed you guys so much.
Oh my God, so much.
We're finally back into our little routine here. We're recording. We've actually got one under our belt that you won't be hearing until next week, but we're back.
We have to do the complicated ones first because our brain power decreases with each one. So
yes.
This episode, as you already know, is a listener stories episode.
We love these. Thank you guys so much for sending in your stories so that we can read them and share them with the rest of you guys.
And we have a new way for you to share with us. We are so excited. We got a phone number, and all you have to do is call it and leave us a voicemail of your story. So you get to literally say it to our ears, and it will transcript it into words for us to read. So our number is 470-289-0226. That's the Spooky Sisters line.
Yes. So you can go ahead and call that number and leave your story there, or you can send it to our email at goodlucksleepingpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes. You can also find us on Facebook, the Good Luck Sleeping Podcast, Instagram, Good Luck Sleeping Podcast, Twitter @GLSleeping. You can listen to our podcast on our website, goodlucksleeping.libsyn.com. We are also on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Podcast, if that's your thing.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Easy peasy.
I still remember it.
Good job. So before we get into the stories, why don't we just give like a quick little recap? How was your, maternity leave and holiday?
So exhausting.
Yeah.
I still can't function because my child is deciding that 4 a.m. is a really good time to wake up and smile and play. It's so fun.
He is really cute though.
He is really cute. He's a chunker. He's a whopping 13 pounds already. 8 weeks old. So,
Aww.
Yeah, he came out 8 pounds, 8 ounces. Didn't know how to eat. Kind of starved for a day or two there. And then they figured out what was going on. And he's come back with a vengeance.
Good for him.
I know. He's thriving. So that makes me happy. I just wish he would sleep.
The cutest little cheeks, though. He's got the cutest eyes, expressions, and cheeks.
Yes. If you're in our Facebook group, you've probably seen him in a couple memes because I can't control myself. So
I've had the pleasure of holding him in a little baby carrier pouch.
He freaking loves Aunt Rachel. Like, he will be screaming, refusing to sleep. I can put him in the same dang carrier and he will fight me. And then Rachel wears him and it's...
Do you know what I think it is?
What?
I think my boobs are smaller.
It could be.
I honestly was thinking about it.
I'm sorry.
I think there's just more room for him in the chesticle region.
It could be. Yeah. She had a Christmas party and I called her and I was like, he's been crying all day and I can't get him to stop. And she's like, just come on. And she wore him the entire Christmas party. He slept the whole thing. And then when he came out, he had blue lips because
my
sweater was
blue.
And I guess he'd been leaning it. It was really funny. He's fine. He's fine. Everything's fine.
He's the best. He's so cute. So,
yes.
But yeah, so your break was exhausting.
Absolutely exhausting. Every single holiday went the complete opposite of how I thought it was going to go. I really didn't get any holidays. Thanksgiving, we had to cancel because my older son was sick. And then Christmas, my older son was sick again and my entire family got it. We had to cancel that. And then New Year's, they were still sick. And I had spent the entire week in solitary confinement trying to keep Oliver and myself from catching it, which I did. So I feel slight victory and justice in that.
Good job.
But that being said, I am so glad to be out of the house.
I know we have some adult interaction happening, which is amazing.
And alcohol. Not like pregnant anymore.
That's right. I finished mine. I could open a new one. I'm not driving. Anyway, should I jump into mine? Do you have more?
Well, how was your
I mean my time,
okay.
My holiday.
Sorry, I drank alcohol and then I started stuttering. It's going real fun here.
I'll go ahead and share.
Yes, please.
I was the kid in school that after break or after the weekend, the teacher would be like, "Oh, does anybody have anything they'd like to share about their weekend?" And I was always like, me.
I can see that.
Yeah, I was the annoying kid that always wanted to talk about myself because I'm a little turd. Anyway, it was a really, really nice little break. I think we needed it, just to kind of
There was no way that I could have recorded through that.
Well, yeah. And the holidays are just, I'm sorry that yours were kind of stolen, but there's such a special time. I was telling Kayla that it's almost like time doesn't exist outside of the holidays for me.
Rachel was like, do not speak to me of anything but Christmas for the entire month of December.
It doesn't have to do with Santa or Christmas. I'm out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really nice time. I didn't, post a whole lot on social media. I just we didn't go many places. I just soaked in time with the kids and the decorations and everything, and I just needed, I think, that time to kind of recharge. So it was a good little break, but we are just happy to be back at it.
Yes. I actually December 1st decided to do a spooktacular advent calendar, which if you follow us on social medias, you saw that, because I needed something to do with my brain and I wanted to give back in some way. And I found out through that everybody hates the movie Elf, even though it's on my favorites list.
I love that movie.
Oh man. Well, no, everybody was like, I don't want that one. So
you're like, well, that's the one you won. So I'm sorry.
Well, thankfully the lady who won it loved it.
Okay,
so
good.
That's
good.
But anyway, oh, it's so good to be back.
Yeah.
It took us a couple of tries to remember how to do this.
Yeah, we had to scrap the first recording of the last
first
episode.
two.
Yeah.
It's third time's the charm.
Yeah. Because we were just super rusty and kind of forgot how to talk. So, I mean,
I just heard your
that was
throat.
my throat noise. I'm keeping it in there. I'm editing now for a while, guys. So
yeah,
things might be a little.
If anything's weird, blame Rachel.
Anyway, all right, let's jump into it. We are going to start with Abby's story. So she says, "Hi, Spooky Sisters. My name is Abby and I live in Joliet, Illinois, which is actually not very far from where I grew up. Just wanted to say that I love the podcast. I laugh. It creeps me out. It's amazing. Keep it up, girls. I wanted to share a couple of experiences with you, but I first had to share an experience I had yesterday while listening to Rachel's fake story on the Hometown Haunts episode." Remember that one?
Yes, I do. I did not fall for it.
What a bummer. You should know that I was totally buying into the story, so I'm sitting in the car, mouth gaped open, because I cannot believe the sheer terror that Rachel is describing. And as she starts talking about the things that started happening to her friends that the old woman prophesied.
Ah, yes, Danielle and Brittany, wasn't it?
Good memory. I don't know. I feel something touch the back of my neck, and then the touch turns into a crawl across my neck, and I scream. I swipe the back of my neck, and there is the biggest, fattest queen bee that I've ever seen. Oh, I'm surprised that I didn't crash my car.
Well, okay, queen bees can't sting you though, right?
I don't know.
Right? I don't think they have any kind of defense. That's why they have all the worker bees. Either way, that is terrifying.
Your homeschooling is shining. Wow. I didn't know that. I'm surprised I didn't crash my car, but it all turned out to be fine. It was just a bee after all. But anyways, on to the creepy. Oh, I scrolled too far. I made the font really big and Kayla's making fun of me.
She's seriously like a 80-year-old woman. Because it made it big on my end, too, because we were sharing a Google Drive, and I'm like, holy crap.
Is it easy to see? Yeah. You could pass this eyesight test, couldn't you?
I could pass
from a mile away. All right. So I've seen progressively creepier things as I've gotten older. I'm not sure exactly what that means. I've tried not to think about it.
Rachel's not going to see anything because it has to be size 48 font.
Okay, it's 24, if we're being honest.
I'm sorry.
But I have some stories to share with you both. The first experience I remember is from when I was very little, probably 4 or so. I don't remember lots of things from my early childhood, but I remember this clearly. My sister was sick as an infant, and I remember being at the hospital in the waiting room, and they had this wooden jungle gym for the siblings to play in, and it had a section with one of those domed-out windows to see out into the room, and a door that shuts on that portion of the jungle gym. One of the other kids shut the door on me when I crawled into this space, and I just remember the strong feeling that I was not alone. I don't remember what happened after that or how I got out. I assume the other kid just opened the door. Also growing up, I was always terrified of a corner in a family member's basement. I remember the feeling like I was being watched, only to find out that that's where my grandmother took her own life many, many years before. Oh,
that got dark fast.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
Sad, yeah. Next, growing up, my room was at the end of the hallway, and I remember a night I had to get up and use the bathroom. My cat was standing in front of me, wanting to be let out of the room. Cats are such assholes.
You really are.
Right.
Mine is like on a mission to wake the baby. She's going to wind up a fur hat.
Yeah, she would be a pretty one. Except for that matted spot on her back. All right. My cat was standing in front of me wanting to be let out of the room too, so I opened the door for us. Immediately, the hair on her back stands straight up, her tail gets huge, and she starts making this weird low growling noise at nothing. Ugh. I'm freaked out, so I take my hand and swipe the air in front of my door. Why, I don't know. But I swear to you that I felt some resistance. Ugh. Needless to say, I was not able to go to the bathroom. I shut the door and tried to go back to bed. Flash forward a few years, and I'm in Spain with a friend, and we're walking through an old castle / military base, Gibraltar, if you want to look it up.
Oh, good.
I'm not spelling it. I'm just telling you it's Gibraltar. Gibraltar. This place was a little worn down, and there were still jail cells that were intact, but it was bright and had beautiful gardens that were not so scary. This area was occupied by Arabic military for a while, and we kept walking past the cells that they kept the Christian women locked up in at night. My friend climbed the stairs ahead of me, and when I turned around, I very clearly saw a man with a turban, bare chest, and traditional pants of that time. I remember I could see him, but I could also see past him. I honestly thought my eyes were playing a trick on me.
Like through him, I guess?
Yeah, I guess so. But it happened so fast. I turned my head and saw him, and then turned my head right back around and ran so fast up the stairs that I tripped and ruined my fresh pedicure. Oof! That is heartbreaking.
Get gel. That's what I did.
Yeah. When my friend checked on me, he went down to look, and there was no one around. It wasn't crowded that day at all, and there wasn't anyone around us. It gets worse.
Thank you.
I love that she tied it in. The last story I wanted to share with you was the most terrifying for me. I was living with my boyfriend at the time. Oh, sorry, my big font got ahead of me. I was living with my boyfriend at the time, and he had gone to work, and I had the day off, so I was sleeping in. I heard footsteps in the house after he left, and I thought he must have just forgotten something. I hear the footsteps pause outside the bedroom door and then go back in the other direction and start shuffling really fast to the point of running to the attic door and slamming the door to the attic behind itself. No. Now here's the terrifying thing to me. This attic was not accessible by a regular staircase, not the typical ceiling attics, and there was a heavy wooden door to hide the stairs. We had been moving some things around, so we had a heavy nightstand blocking the front of the door at the time. Knowing this, I did get out of bed, in quotes she says stupid, and checked to see if my boyfriend was home. He wasn't. And the attic door was still closed and blocked by the nightstand. I went back into bed and eventually fell asleep.
How do people sleep through these things?
I don't know. I'd be like, well, I guess I'm not sleeping again. Ever. Until I heard the footsteps again.
No!
They paused outside of our door again, and then all of a sudden, I could not move. I was pinned to the bed. I could see a blurry / cloudy wisp of something in front of my face, and then I heard a growl. A terrifying low growl. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. I tried saying the Lord's Prayer, but I couldn't get through it. I could see my cat in the corner of the room staring at something directly on top of me.
Oh, I had that happen too. It's awful.
I kept on starting the Lord's Prayer over and over again until I was finally able to get through the whole thing. And then it was gone. I called my boyfriend and told him to come back home from work. He called his sweet little Hispanic aunt who has holy water and blessed coins and such to come over. She came and prayed over the whole house and blessed it, and I never had another experience while living there, although I could never go into the attic alone. I mean, I couldn't do that.
I couldn't live in that house.
Yeah. No. That's all for my scary stories. I can't wait for the next episode, ladies. Stay spooky, Abby.
Wow, Abby. I do not envy you.
No, that was an intense story, especially that last part. I'm so sorry that happened
Rachel,
to you.
You made this document 82 pages long.
Yeah, and you can read it super easily. You're welcome. I mean, you should be thanking me.
Okay, well.
You can change the font if you need to.
No, because then you'll just change it back.
I'm sorry, but am I stumbling as much? No. I'm doing a much better job because I can see.
Oh my gosh. We're figuring out your printer issues next time.
I'll have mine like one word on one piece of paper.
You have like 40, like a mound of paper.
Here's my manuscript.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to read Melinda's story. She says, I have debated on whether to share this. Honestly, the story isn't mine, but my husband's. He doesn't talk about it because honestly, it's downright frightening. For his sake, I will use a different name. This is a true story that happened to T when he was just 2 years old. He lived in an old one-story bedroom No. An old one-story home with just his mom. His bedroom was off in a dark corner of the house with only trees for a view. He would constantly talk about the man in the window. His mom thought it was just the tree's shadow casting onto his window. But then he started saying that the man was playing with his toys. Ew. Oh. His mom noticed that his toy... I can't scroll, Rachel. You made this.
I had no issues.
His mom noticed that his toy train would be on the other side of the room, but thought that T might have played with it before bed, and she just didn't notice. It was his favorite toy. One night, T started screaming. This wasn't a usual bedtime protest scream. All you parents out there know what those are. Mm-hmm. This was different. She ran into his room to see him standing on the side of his crib and his toy train flying through the air towards her son. She grabbed T and ran into her room. I got goosebumps. And closed and locked the door. She asked him more about the, quote, man in the window, and he told her he had red eyes and was dark. Oh. Shadow people.
Did it have a hat?
He said that he liked to talk to him and tell stories. She asked him what he talked about, and he said they talked about a guillotine and it hurt bad people. This made the hairs, it's making the hairs on my neck stand up too. Her son could talk very well for his age, but she knew he didn't know that word or even know what it was used for. Then she asked if the man had a name. He shook his head yes and whispered, he told me not to tell. His mom said that it would be okay to tell her. He thought about it and then said, Lucifer.
Okay.
His mom immediately called a nearby church. Good move.
100%.
And had them come and bless the house at midnight. Lucifer is the name of the fallen archangel, most referred to as the devil, in case you didn't know that. Even though she had the house blessed and everything seemed to be okay after that, she still found another place for them to live as soon as possible and had it blessed before they moved in. Kudos to this mom for believing her kid.
Yes.
There's too many people that let that go.
Well, she saw him standing on the edge of the crib, too.
True. So.
But I mean,
still. They have only talked about it once with me and have never talked about it again. Obviously, for good reasons. Just recounting it has me in chills. Yeah, I got goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
That was it?
Oh, that was it? Oh.
That was it?
Well, that's enough.
Man. That was crazy. Took some turns there.
I hate stories that involve kids.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, because then it just puts you in the parent's shoes, and it's just terrifying.
Well, we've been there.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
All right, hold on. I just have to scroll down a little bit just to get to mine.
To like page 34.
Okay.
Here's Johnny.
Johnny's story. Hey guys, I love your podcasts. I listen to them every week or whenever they come out. I will cut to the chase now. I have 2 jobs and I am 17. Wow, you are hitting the hitting the
Seriously,
grind.
that work ethic though.
Yeah, hitting the grind is not. Is that the word? You're motivated. All right. I work as a busboy at a fast food facility, and when I started working at the fast food facility, the employees told me that a ghost haunted it. As a Christian, I thought this was a bunch of bogus. For this part, I will have to tell you the layout of the back room of the store. So we just read it, and it seems like he needed to get back to the back room to get ice.
Past the ice bucket is a huge freezer door.
Okay. So to put this in perspective, I have to push really hard to open it. One day while I was getting ice, the door suddenly opened up. Not a lot, but just enough for me to notice. I checked behind it to see if anyone was there, and nobody was.
Dude, you're brave. I would have been like, nope.
I then went back to the counter and asked if anyone had been in there in the back room. The only other person was on a smoke break, so I knew I wasn't imagining it. Another time, I was trying to see if I could get the ghost to talk to me. Oh, no. Johnny, no.
No. No.
Although I would probably do the same
We deleted that
thing.
episode, but no.
I knocked on an old sink in the back of the room 3 times, each separated by 2 seconds. I stood there for a few seconds and then heard a quiet but very much heard 3 knocks, just like mine. I refuse to go in that room to this day. I forgot to add this, but everyone who has gone in there always says it feels like someone is watching them.
Know that too well.
But not all of my ghost experiences have occurred at work, though. In my room, I have seen a distinct shadow. It once stood at the edge of my bed, and it looked like it was petting my dog, who, by the way, was in between my legs. The dog was looking in its direction. He was growling, not loud, but enough so that my brother and I could both hear it. Just last night, I saw the shadow again. It was near me in my brother's cabinets. It was in between it and went from my window to one of the cabinets.
Nope.
My dog was with me again, and he literally jumped out of bed and started barking. As soon as he barked, it was gone. It had only happened when my dog is with me. Well, he wanted to pet it that one time.
I know. It's just a dead animal lover. He was like, "Oh, puppy!"
I know. Ooh, I saw a puppy today, guys. He tells his other ghost friends. Most of my family doesn't believe in ghosts, so I needed to tell someone. And you guys are awesome. So there you go, my ghost experience.
Aww, thanks, Johnny.
Thanks for sharing that with us. That's, intense. But at least it wasn't super negative.
Yeah, well, we know of.
Yeah. The first one was just scary, but it was trying to communicate.
Yeah. The question is the dark shadow of a shadow person or not? Right. That's the only issue. That's the only thing I have to worry about.
Yeah. Well, so far.
But otherwise, it's just a ghost who misses puppers.
That's right.
Okay. Hi, Kayla and Rachel. My daughter Jamie asked me to send you one of my ghost stories.
Oh, I think this is Connie.
Well, you didn't put that in the notes, Rachel.
I know. I wasn't very consistent.
I am a sensitive. So are we. So I have quite a few to tell. This one involves Jamie, so I'll start with it. Ed hanged himself, you know. These were the first words our neighbor said to us as we were moving into our first house. Apparently, the original owner, Ed, committed suicide by hanging himself in the basement after his wife passed away. The guy we bought it from had totally gutted the house and redesigned the interior. It felt like a new home to us, so we didn't think much about it. Almost immediately after getting settled, I noticed doors that I had closed earlier were open when I saw them next, or if a door was left open, it would be closed. Ed wants his house in order. That's what it is.
And even if it wasn't active before, it was all that construction.
Yeah,
maybe that woke him up. Yeah.
Oh, we're house shopping, and I just thought about that.
Like, how exciting.
Renovations.
I would like to come with you, and we can test out each room together.
Oh, my gosh. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Like, I'm going to have to feel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Like I have a choice.
When we were house hunting, there were straight up nice homes that we went in, and I was like, nope, this house feels super weird.
This is like a whole new layer.
Yeah. Yes, I know.
Okay. She said, my husband checked all the latches, and the doors shouldn't have been able to open or close without help. Objects would move from one place to another. For example, I always put my watch on my dresser before I went to bed. In the morning, it was not there, and later I would find it in the kitchen sink, bathtub, or on a bookshelf.
Oh.
Every time I looked in a mirror, I would catch sight of it. Ooh, a figure just moving out of the side of the mirror. When I turned around, no one was there. We joked around telling Ed to knock it off or put that back. That's a good way to cope. I think I would have to do that too.
Knock it off, Ed. Oof.
Once I was in the backyard planting flowers, and our cat Pokey started patting on the door and meowing to go in. My hands were dirty, so I jokingly asked Ed to let the cat in. The screen door opened about 6 inches. The cat arched his back, hissed, and dashed into the house.
How helpful.
The door shut after him.
Oh, ew.
Pokey would never go into one corner of the basement either. This was weird because my sewing/craft room was there, and he loved to help me by batting my projects off the table while I worked on them. Typical
Cats are
cat.
such assholes.
They really are. The house was small, so when I was pregnant with Jamie, we added a master bedroom in the basement. I can hear Kayla saying, "Why?" Directly under the living room. You know me so well. My husband was working nights and would get home around 2 a.m. Almost every night at 11:30 p.m., I would hear the front door open and close and footsteps going across the floor through the wall into the next room. Through the wall? I would go upstairs expecting to find that Dennis was home early, but no one was there and the door was locked. My husband heard it on his night off. My husband heard it on his night off and ran upstairs to check. Again, nothing. We looked at each other and said, Ed. It didn't happen very often after that. You offended him.
Yeah, poor guy.
Let's see. Jamie was not a good sleeper. The only thing that would put her to sleep was a musical pony that attached to her crib. I know where this is going. One night she woke up crying for the 3rd time, and I said, Ed, turn on her pony. Ed was so helpful. This is not what I thought it was going to be at all. The music started almost immediately, and she stopped crying. I ran to her room to find her fast asleep and her pony playing. I love Ed.
He helps with the babies. He helps with the animals.
Right?
I mean, he's a keeper.
I mean, the cat was like, nope.
Yeah.
But still.
Thanks, but no.
When Jamie was 2, she loved to play in her room, laughing and talking.
Uh-oh.
I'd go check. But if it's Ed, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'd go check on her and find her sitting on the floor in front of my rocker playing with toys. When I asked who she was
Oh.
When I asked who she was talking to, she always said my friend Marty.
Oh, who's
I thought
Marty?
thought she had an imaginary friend. We moved to our current home after our son was born. A year after that, I met a girl at work who lived down the street from our old house. I asked her if she knew Ed, and she said her parents were good friends with him and his wife. Oh, like the living one, I guess.
Oh, I wonder if Marty's the wife.
I don't know. She used to go to their house all the time. Before the house was remodeled, the bedroom door was directly across from the front door. Ed worked nights and would get home about 11:30 p.m.
Oh.
He was a prankster who didn't like cats, loved kids, and his friends called him Marty.
Oh.
This is so wholesome.
That just filled my heart with the warmest of fuzzies.
She said, I'm sorry if this is a little long. This was perfect. We'd love it.
Yeah.
I have some stories to share about our current house, and we'll send them another day. Also, Kayla, you said I should write more on my haunted house dreams. I had a pretty good one this week, so I'll send the next episode soon. Really love your podcast. Good luck sleeping, Connie Rowe. Thank you, Connie.
Thank you, Connie.
That's amazing.
Fantastic. Oh, I love good ghosts. Okay, this is Karen's story. Karen, I think, was featured in one of our past.
Yeah, I think she's sent us
stories.
a couple.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They're always really good.
They are. Hello, ladies. I am submitting another spooky story. You should know that Sarah, I will refrain from saying her last name, is my daughter, and she also was a part of the story I'm telling. I grew up in Waukesha, Wisconsin in the 70s. While there, I had become acquainted with a family, and one of the daughters became my sister's sister-in-law. So we became close enough to know a lot of what happened with the family. Move forward to the late 90s. I am now raising my own family in the same town. My daughter, Sarah, met a girl at school named Jill. One day after school, my daughter asked if I could give Jill a ride home. I said, sure. To my surprise, she was living in the house that had been owned by the family I knew from the 70s. I told Jill I knew of the family who had lived here previously. We dropped Jill off and then went back home. Within a few minutes of arriving home, the phone was ringing. It was Jill's mom. She asked what I knew about the history of the house. Oh boy, I did know the history, but was not sure she would want to know. During that conversation, I learned that Jill's mom owned a local metaphysical shop in town and was very interested in the paranormal. I told her the house had a dark history and she needed to be prepared. She still wanted to know. So, in a nutshell, here's a history of the Smith family, not their real name. The Smiths were a family of 5. Mom, Dad, 2 boys, and 2 girls.
That's 6.
Yeah. I was like, wait, quick math. Okay, so they were a family of 6. They were nice people, very kind and decent. There was never any problem with any of the kids. All were well behaved. The parents had a good, strong marriage. But it seemed as if they were cursed. The first thing that went wrong was the youngest boy, Mike. Cursed. Seems as if they were cursed. The first thing that went wrong was the youngest boy, Mike, was killed in an auto accident at age 15.
Okay, now I feel like shit.
Well, we didn't know that was coming.
I
It's
know,
very
that's
sad.
true.
Next, the mother died while cooking dinner of a brain aneurysm. Holy cow. This happened 2 weeks before the youngest daughter, Edie, was to be married. Oh. The wedding went on as planned, but it was a bittersweet day.
I bet.
Edie and her husband went on to have a happy marriage and 2 children. By the 5th wedding anniversary, she was expecting number 3. She and her husband took a road trip to celebrate the anniversary. On that trip, Edie was killed in a car accident, and the unborn baby also died. 3 weeks after that, Edie's father died of a heart attack.
Okay, Karen. I need some feel-good stuff.
Holy cow.
This is too much.
With the death of the father, the family home was vacant. The oldest son, Carter, did not want the house, and the oldest
Don't blame
daughter, Lisa, was married with 2 boys and decided that they would move in. From the beginning, Lisa would talk about seeing quote-unquote things. She believed her mother and sister haunted the house. She said that she would see apparitions of her mom in the kitchen. Her husband and children also claimed to hear noises and saw shadows. After living in the house about 6 months, Lisa went into a deep depression. Her husband moved out of the house and filed for divorce. He would have the boys on the weekends, and Lisa would be alone in the house during that time. One Sunday night, when bringing the boys home from their weekend visit, Lisa's husband found the house empty. One of the boys ran upstairs to look for her, and one went down to the basement. He found her hanging from the rafter. Oh. Above her were deep scratches in the beam she was hanging from. After Lisa's death, the house was sold, and several families came and went. Until Jill and her mom bought the house. Only the oldest son still survives and has moved away from the area. I mean,
What were the deep scratches?
I don't know. After telling Jill's mom this story, I heard silence on the phone. Finally, she said, "We see a woman in the kitchen. We hear a woman crying at night, and we hear scratching and banging sounds coming from the basement." She admitted to me that she had tried using Ouija board to figure out what was going on. She told me that with the information I gave her, she was going to try and have someone come and try to move the spirits on and do a cleansing.
I don't think they're all spirits.
Yeah, I know. Oh my
of that
gosh.
nature.
As far as I know, the house has been quiet and calm.
Well, thanks for that feel-good story.
Oof. Oh, what another story
Let's hope
like
the next
Ed.
one's better. Yeah, let's bring back Ed. I mean, not really.
No, I mean, no. Stay in your own house, Ed. Oof. No, but thank you for sending that. That was very well written and super intense. Holy cow.
Lots of chills. All right. This is Jesse's story. Hey, guys, you don't know how much I hate typing things out. Well, Jesse.
Had you waited, what, like 4 months? You could have sent it in via phone. Oh, well.
Okay. Here's a little bit of what happened when we visited Waverly Hills. Now, if you guys have listened to our Hometown Haunts episode, I talked about Waverly Hills, which is in Louisville, Kentucky, or somewhere around there, the sanatorium, and he has actually visited it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to listen to his experience. We were invited by some friends that were in a paranormal investigation group to attend their investigations of Waverly Hills Sanatorium. In a matter of fewer than 24 hours, we made the 5 to 6 hour journey from Rockford to Louisville, Kentucky, did our overnight investigation, set off fireworks on the top of the building, then came straight back home. Yay. To be quite honest, I don't have a ton of detailed stories to tell other than a few creepy happenings. Most of the EVP sessions we recorded came up moderately inconclusive, except for one that I described later. We caught random sounds here and there, but there were so many of us together most of the time when doing the EVPs that it was hard to say that we got anything definitive on the recordings. I just realized I haven't gone through them super well, so I'm actually re-listening as I type this. Oh. A few of my personal experiences are as follows. A boy named Timmy is said to wander the halls of the sanitarium. They have balls throughout the room's halls where he is seen most, so he has something to do. We decided to try a few experiments in this hallway. First, we tossed a ball down the hallway into the dark to see if we could get Timmy to throw it back to us. We gave it a few minutes after tossing the ball and went to go retrieve it. We ended up finding the ball in a room that seemingly made no sense for it to have rolled into. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Which I think I talked about Timmy.
Yes.
In mine.
I do.
There was actually a video of him moving the ball. We decided it was worth sticking around to see if we could potentially get any other odd occurrences. So we set up a camera pointed down the hallway. At the end of the hall in the dark, we set up a flashlight and went back down the hall a good 20 or so feet to see if we could get Timmy to turn the flashlight on. During these experiments, myself and 2 friends, Jen and Dylan, took turns asking Timmy questions. Oddly enough, we started to get responses with the flashlight, but he/it only responded to Dylan's questions. But it was almost every time Dylan asked a question that the entity turned the flashlight on and off, never for Jen or Jesse. We actually did get this on camera, but unfortunately the hard drive that I had all of the video saved to crashed a few months ago. I know. But once we get that back up and running,
I say of course because I feel like spirits mess with tech stuff. Yeah. I'm not saying that you made this up. I believe you, Jesse.
No. Well, he put I know.
I know.
He anticipated it. He said he'll send the footage once he gets it up and running. Okay. Eventually, we started to get fewer responses, and we decided to move on. Continuing into a different area of the building, the group went into a place that is said to be the darkest, spiritually, area of the building. Here, there have been claims of scratches, physical touch/pushing, etc. It was here that the group decided to do a lights out for 20 minutes. And of course, I was at the end of the group. Lights out commenced, and we sat quietly awaiting our deaths as the tour guide started talking to the dark entity there. I don't blame you. It was at this time that I felt a dip in temperature, started hearing shuffling and footsteps down the hall in the direction that 100% for sure no one was. The next few minutes were probably the most creeped out I've ever been as the footsteps got closer and closer, as well as faint, growly breathing started to become audible. Something just kept creeping its way toward the group, aka me. I don't know how else to explain it, but the dark started to look darker.
Uh-huh.
I've been in that situation before, though that could have been just my eyes trying to make sense of the pitch black. I doubt it. Out of nowhere, we heard a door move in the room next to me, then heard shuffling come closer. It was really, really wanting to bond with him.
I guess so.
This went on for close to 20 minutes.
He's a friendly guy, so I mean, I can see that.
Yeah. Just then, I felt a tug on my shirt, then it all stopped. No footsteps running away or anything telling of a person screwing around. It just went away. Dylan, Jen, and I, in a group of about 10, were the only ones who seemed to hear/experience it happening. I sent the audio of this in the Google Drive file I invited you to called The Dark Hallway.
The pictures. We saw the album that he'd sent us.
Did it have audio?
Oh,
no.
no.
Said there was a video in it.
No, I don't think it had audio, but we definitely got a lot of pictures, like an album.
Well, we'll look back through that.
Yes, we'll go through it.
Throughout the night, we had a few other oddities, including shadow figures and various unexplained noises, but that about covers the events worth mentioning. All of this is true and not embellished. I'm a huge skeptic of other people's stories, even though I've experienced many myself, so it was kind of cool to actually witness some of it firsthand. Hope you all enjoyed. Happy Margarita Day, I guess. Did he send this all the way back in May?
He sent it it's been a long time since we've done a listener stories episode. Well, thanks for sending that in, Jesse. It sounds very terrifying.
Yes.
And it makes me kind of want to go there and
I knew it.
investigate myself, especially after hearing Kayla's information about it. So this is Christy's story. So I just listened to podcast 3 for the first time, and as soon as you mentioned the man with the hat, I lost it. I kid you not, as soon as you said there's this one who distinguishes himself, I literally said he wears a hat. And then you went on to call him Hat Man, and I started tearing up. Oof. Yeah, that would be absolutely terrifying. To know you came in contact with like the big dog.
I know it.
I thought I was the only one who saw him. I would see him almost every night for about 1.5 years when I was in high school, and it was the same year my sleep paralysis and night terrors were at their worst. And I always was so afraid of him.
This blows my mind because all these people thought they were the only ones until we did that episode.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I'm glad that we could at least like somewhat normalize it and let you guys know that, you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Even still, this kind of like reinforces my belief that sleep paralysis is not just...
It's way too tied to those things.
Yeah, it has to be spiritual.
Yeah.
I really think it is. But anyway, I could only see him when I'd go into sleep paralysis, and he'd be standing in the same corner of my room every night, but he wouldn't be the one causing me to suffocate, although I have never seen who or what was attacking me.
Yeah. He likes to watch.
Yuck. I would only just see him standing there, which is why I was so afraid of him, and I would just stare at him, immediately breathing insanely fast. I would always try to scream for my mom, but could never catch my breath, to yell for her, or even to belt out a prayer. And I'd be so scared it would be hard to concentrate on a prayer in my head. My door would also sometimes lock itself during those times. So even, honestly, it's so paranormal. So even if I did yell for my mom, she wouldn't have been able to come in. She would always question why I was locking my door when she went to wake me up in the morning for school. And I would swear to her on my life that I was not the one locking my door at night. I haven't seen him in a while, but he comes in spurts for me. Like there will be months where I'm fine and sleeping fine at night, and then out of nowhere, the sleep paralysis starts up again, and I'll start seeing him, and it'll go on for a couple of days or weeks until it stops again. I'm 21 now and still am and always have been afraid of the dark and refuse to sleep without the TV on. The year that I would see him every night was also the same year I started experiencing astral projection, and I was able to watch myself go through sleep paralysis, and I would spend my night yelling at myself to wake up. What a nightmare. It sounds extremely outlandish, I know, but it really happened a lot. Anyways, I love the podcast. Oh, that one's heartbreaking.
That is so heartbreaking. I'm sorry that you still
I
experience
know. It makes me want to do something for her to help her get through this. Have you okay. Maybe you can message us privately and let us know what kind of steps you've taken to get yourself out of this cycle, because it's got to be so stressful.
I don't know if you've listened to the sleep paralysis episode, but I did look up a tutorial on how to break out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe listen to that and see if any of that would help.
Yeah, but otherwise, please contact us and let us know if it's happening still.
I've cast out a shadow person before, so
we can
not fun,
we can be your backup though.
Yeah, we got you, girl.
So all right, yeah, let us know.
All right. So this is our last story. All right. This is from Melanie. God! Just thought that a Saturday night post-Halloween was a good time to give you guys the first installment of the stories that make up my freaky ass life.
I love Melanie.
I do too. As mentioned, I am Melanie. I am an American citizen living in the UK. Backstory, I am the fifth of 6 kids. This is noteworthy. My first story for you begins with my mom. She was born in 1934. All my life, and apparently all the lives of my siblings who came before me, she professed to being abducted by extra... She's told the story!
Oh.
So she was talking... Okay. I need to give some backstory. Last night, literally, she was a little drunk, and she was commenting on one of my posts about her mom, who was apparently an alien abductee.
Fascinating. Have her send us stories.
Well, that's what she did.
Oh, this is her story.
But this is in the past. Yes. This is talking about her mom, who was, she claimed to be abducted by extraterrestrials.
Oh.
So, cool. Okay. So, going back to what she said. So, she claimed that for as long as she could remember. She remembered and reported to us, her children, that she would be taken at night by beings she described as what are commonly known these days as the Greys.
Uh-huh.
She said they took samples from her and explained that these samples would help them track her progeny for future experimentation. Note, this was decades before we knew about DNA. I, as mentioned before, was one of these 6 kids. However, Mom repeatedly told us all that they would come for us when we were sleeping.
Holy shit.
Your mother would be like, just so you know, Melanie, you might get abducted tonight.
Sleep tight, sweetie. Good luck sleeping.
Exactly. She was sure of this, as they had taken samples to determine we were related.
What?
Side note, I was born on an American Air Force base in 1966 called Clinton Sherman Air Force Base.
Ooh.
This base was the birthplace of the B-52 bomber. My mom recanted stories of us little kids running to her and saying that we had seen cigars and plates flying in the sky. Cigars, that's shaped like a Tic Tac.
Yep, the Tic Tac one.
I fully admit I do not recall this, but she was adamant. Guys, this is where it gets weird.
It's already weird, but we're on the ride. Let's do it.
We're buckling in. Fast forward to me, age 16, now living in Florida. I wake up and decide that I do not want to go to school. I want to sleep. I know that my parents will go...
Same.
Right?
Every day of my high school life, yes.
I know that my parents will go to work before I am due to leave for school and wickedly reason what they don't know won't hurt them.
Naughty.
And snooze on. About 10 a.m., 1980s digital alarm clock tells me. Dude, I had one of those in the 90s.
I also did.
Yes.
With the little brown thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wait. It had like the really obnoxious.
Yes. My dad had it in his room.
Yes.
Or my mom and dad, and then I would hear it from down the hall.
Yeah.
Every day.
I wake up in what I now know to be a sleep paralysis state. I cannot move at all. I am facing my bedroom door, and I see a shadowy figure looking at me through an opening crack in my door. No, sorry. Looking at me through an open crack in my door. I can recall assuming that my dad had come home early and caught me skipping school. I said, "You got me, Dad, sorry," and fell back off to sleep. Wow.
I'm glad you weren't afraid of your parents. That sounds like they were very relaxed. So that's good.
Only later, after I woke and I saw my dad and tried to apologize again, his blank look,
Oh, no.
he had no idea what I was talking about, made me realize that I had dropped myself in it. Fast forward 35 years, I am now living in the UK.
Yeah, we're coming to visit you, Melanie.
Yes. I have adult kids and haven't thought about the Greys for decades. My eldest daughter is married to an amazing guy. They have 2 kids, my amazing grandsons. Last October, my son-in-law decided to participate in Dry October, a charity event here in the UK where the participants abstain from alcohol for charity. A weekend, my son-in-law posts an update on social media that he hasn't had alcohol for a week. But what he has had is his first ever episode of sleep paralysis. He, bless him, was terrified. She's like, I've been there, done this. It's your first time.
Oh, no, that's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, she said he had the old hag on his chest thing.
I'm so glad I've never experienced that. I mean,
know,
knock
and
on wood.
Lord, I hope I never do.
Oh, gosh. Freaking out, man. I really need to knock on wood because I talked
What just happened to you? The door's wood. The door's wood. She's knocking on like all the dressers and beds.
Guys, I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
I wonder if we can trademark that. Merch line.
That's from The Office.
Oh, damn it. Okay. Be original, Rachel. Okay, so this is where it gets worse. Woo!
It gets worse.
I love you guys. We're so putting that on a shirt. Like I said, he posted this episode on social media. And being married to my daughter, our relatives saw this post. Within 5 hours of him posting that, my Aunt Jen, my mom's baby sister, who I have known all my life to be logical and skeptical and teetotal, warns my son-in-law via social media to never stop drinking. What? Oh, they don't like it when you drink. She put that on her post, and I posted a gif of somebody like downing a gallon of water. I was like, well, I guess there goes my sobriety.
Oh, wait, the aliens don't like it when you drink?
They don't like it when you drink.
So she thinks that the aliens are connected to sleep paralysis.
Yes, because the time that he was sober is when he started experiencing sleep paralysis. So that's why she was drunk. Oh. It's all coming full circle.
Everything's tying together in a nice little bow.
Oh my God, I'm so glad we had that exchange, Melanie. And that's the end of it. That was actually a really good note to end on. Thank you.
Thank you for telling us all that we need to drink more.
Yes, seriously. Okay. Glug, glug. Cheers.
Oh, guys, those were good. That was a good little round of listener stories.
Yes, I loved it.
So send us more because we are, I think, pretty much caught up now. Yep. And so if you guys like these episodes, send in your stories. I know we have some more people in our Facebook group that I think have joined since.
Yes.
So if you've got any stories,
Queen.
send them via Gmail or call our new number and you can tell us them yourself without having to write them out. Or
which our new number again is 470-289-0226.
Yes. And please invite people to the group or just share our podcast with people that you think may be interested because we love growing our spooky little family.
Yes. And we have some projects that we are looking into for this coming year, 2020. And we need all the support we can get.
We're going to have a really fun year with you guys.
It's going to be so good.
So good luck sleeping.
Good luck sleeping and go ahead and get drunk, apparently.
Cheers.
Cheers.